So, there we have it. Jake Paul versus Tommy Fury, and Tommy Fury emerges as the winner. But before I go on to get, because I really want to give my opinions on the whole matchup. Here's just a snippet of the post-fight interview with Jake Paul.
Or so a reflection of my own performance versus him being, super outstanding. I couldn't get my momentum going like I wanted to, and I just felt kind of flat.
Yeah, you felt flat out there. How about talking about his strength? That was a big, factor that a lot of people thought about. Of course, they saw his build and how he looked. Was he stronger than you anticipated?
No, I think he was exactly the fighter that I expected him to be. I think his combinations were the thing that were a bit more impressive. But more so, again, like it was a reflection of my own performance and me just not fighting the way I know I can.
Before we take questions from the media, can I ask what the game plan was going into the fight?
Yeah, look, it's just pressure, come forward, stick it on him, keep the combinations going, fake coming in, work to the body, throw my 1-2s, don't stop jabbing. Sharp on the defense. We knew his jab was going to be long and fast. It's taking away the jab, getting him, coming in with the check hook, which started to work.
You landed that right hand a couple of times. Were you surprised that it didn't phase him or didn't hurt him as much as you thought it might?
I didn't really land it flush. Man, and I think that was, a part of the reason it was tough for me to get my best shots going. Just me setting them up. I don't know what it was, but I just didn't have that energy. So I guess that happens. That happens. And I felt like this in the first Tyron Woodley fight. When we went all 8 rounds, I just felt kind of flat. But that obviously, that fight, I just was able to pull it off. But it happens in the sport sometimes in these big moments, I guess.
Let me pivot a little bit and just ask you about your experience here in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia fighting in Diriyah. How was the experience all around?
Man, it's been great. It's been wonderful. Everyone here is so nice. Just had an amazing fight week. Everyone's super welcoming. So I love it here, man. And they even brought me food waiting in the locker room. I've been waiting to eat some food. So yeah, the people here are amazing, and it's been good, man. Maybe we do the rematch right back here.
Well, on behalf of Skill Challenge Entertainment Enterprise, I want you to know how much we appreciate having you, hosting you, promoting the fight, working with your business partner, co-founder of MVP Promotions, Nikisa Badarian. You guys were great to work with. It was a very easy fight to put together. We did not have, even though we thought it might be problematic dealing with the problem child, it was a great experience in doing it, and we look forward to many more ventures in the future. Nikisa, how would you rate the evening? The fight, the build-up, just overall performance?
Look, this was a journey that started 2.5 years ago, and we just pulled off one of the biggest events in boxing.
Yeah.
The number of important figures of boxing that were here tonight, the sheer chatter online, and the numbers that have been actually achieved in terms of pay-per-view globally are nothing but impressive and speaks to what Jake brought to the table, what Tommy brought to the table, and what the promotion that you guys put together brought to the table. So we're extremely happy with that. I think, look, you definitely don't want to lose, but Jake hurt him, and he hit Jake. That's how I view the fight. Jake definitely hurt Tommy Fury. Tommy Fury definitely hit Jake more than Jake hit him probably in the end.
We'll take some questions from the media. First one here down in the front.
Okay, first of all, welcome Saudi, Jake. We saw a great performance in your fight, though you didn't succeed in it. It's the first time you don't prove people wrong. So I would like to ask you about another matchup instead of the rematch with Tyson Fury. No, Tommy Fury, I'm sorry. Is the match with KSI interesting to you anymore?
Yeah, I mean, for sure. I think I got to go get this one back. And and KSI is yet to fight a real opponent, so we don't even know his actual skill level. But obviously that's still a massive fight. But I'm gonna, go back for this rematch. I just talked to Tommy back in the medical room, and he's like, "Let's go, let's do it again," and he's down for it. So I think that'll be the focus first and foremost. I'm gonna prove that I can go and fight a better fight than I did tonight and get that W.
Jake, what do you think would change in the rematch? What would you do different?
Man, there's a lot of things. I got to go back and look at the tape and really dissect it. But I know when I'm in a flow state, when I'm feeling good, and when I'm having an amazing night. And this just wasn't that. And look, I don't want to sit here and make excuses, but I know I can be better.
Next question. All the way in the back there. Yes, ma'am. Oh, sir.
Jake, pro boxing fans, commiserations on the defeat tonight. Can you tell us what you told Tommy just before the decision was read out? I saw you were talking to him in the ring.
We just said respect. That was a good war, a good fight. He was impressed by my skill. He said, "Look, I've been doing this since 6 years old, and you've been doing it for 3 years, and you put up a war."
So look, I will hold my hands up to in admission and admit that Jake Paul, despite him not being the winner in this fight, in this matchup, he still did put up a pretty good fight. But in the eyes of the judges, Tommy Fury still came up as the better fighter. His skill set seemed to be a lot better, and even in his post-fight interview, Jake Paul even admitted that he didn't really fail to perform the way that he wanted to, that he knows he could have done. But I think what really did it for a lot of fight fans, including myself, because from what I can see, from what I can hear, a lot of big names in boxing and beyond boxing in the combat sports and community were actually in the venue watching this fight, and a lot of eyes were on this particular event. What really did it for me is that the fight itself, even before we go up to who won and who lost, what really did it for me is that Jake Paul's opponent, Tommy Fury, is someone who is far more evenly matched to Jake Paul, especially in terms of age. And Tommy Fury, despite his short record, is a professional, journeyman boxer. This is a sport that is in his blood. He's not in his mid-40s or early 50s. He's not retired. He's still in the very, very prime, the early stages of his career, and beyond that, he comes from a boxing background. Now, should there be a rematch between these two guys? Well, I'm guessing they've agreed to a rematch anyway, Tommy Fury and Jake Paul. I think Jake Paul kind of confirmed it in the post-fight interview, that Tommy Fury came to his medical room, wherever, and they agreed to a rematch. So it looks like that is going to happen. But do people want to see that? Do people want to see a rematch? I wouldn't mind. I won't say mind. That's yes or no. Yes, I would want to see a rematch between these two guys. It'd be interesting to see. But I'm guessing it's going to turn into one of those situations, almost like the Conor McGregor Dustin Poirier situation in the UFC. They're going to keep fighting to, if the other person wins, and the other person's going to push for a rematch, they have to win. It's almost like the other side wants to be the one that settles the score for good, coming out on top. So I'm guessing we're going to have one of those situations. But I'm saying that this is a proof in the pudding that maybe Jake Paul isn't regarded or isn't really a proper boxer, because he's fought someone who is far more evenly matched to him, particularly in terms of age. But I do wonder, would people be feeling the same way if the fight had gone the other way, if Jake Paul had won, and if Tommy Fury had lost and Jake Paul had won? And of course, we know that there was a lot of pressure on Tommy Fury to win this fight. There's he had to stay in Saudi Arabia. The family name Fury would have been disgraced and all those things. And yeah, the WBC, they said sometime last week or so that if Jake Paul does win this fight, then he will be ranked. He will be included in the rankings for boxing. So there was a lot riding on this, and of course, common sense would suggest, if you look at the situation, even as just a casual, as someone who's not even a fight fan, if you're looking from the outside, you will say obviously a lot of the pressure is going to be laid on the shoulders of Tommy Fury. So it'll be, I won't say interesting to see what happens, but going forward, yeah, if a rematch does happen, then okay, because I've got a feeling that maybe Jake Paul probably still wants to prove himself, that he needs to be taken seriously, that he should be taken seriously despite how he's managed to burst onto the combat sporting scene and get all these fights, all this attention, and garner all this money. So yeah. But again, if people don't want to, if the rematch doesn't happen, if the decision is made, by maybe the authorities or by the promoters, and that's beyond the control of either Fury or Paul, then look, Jake Paul, in my mind, I'm gonna kind of contradict myself now. In my mind, he's still someone who, yeah. Starts to prove himself. Has to get a lot more wins on his under his belt by competing against guys who are a lot more evenly matched to him, aka like Tommy Fury. So yeah, I mean, look, if a rematch does happen, then I'm be all for it. I mean, it would help build up Jake Paul's resume and his record. And yeah, I guess if he continues this way, if he goes up against guys who are closely matched in age and in what was I going to say, and ability, then yeah, I'm guessing that a rematch should happen. I'm getting so tongue twisted there. I don't know why. So guys, look, I just want to give my 2 cents on the situation, because it's something that me and many other fight fans have been dying to see, have been calling, been shouting out for this. I'm not so much of a hater of Jake Paul anymore. I can see that kind of goofy side of the guy's kind of a little bit gone out the window. In this fight, there was trash talking leading up to the fight, of course, but after that, there's still a lot of respect for each of the opponents afterwards. So yeah. Going forward, it'll be interesting to see what happens. And yes, guys, I'll leave it at that. Take care.